Hello, welcome to Ron's living room, Ron's T-Bone Shed. So I've got a couple of American-made trombones to show you. Actually, they're Getzens. And both of these horns are going to go up for sale. So look for them on Facebook Marketplace or Reverb.com because I need to sell some horns and I got too many. So here's what we got. Let's take a look here. These are both Getzens. This is a 1970 Getzen KT series. At some point in time, they did refer to that as the Getzen 300. Okay, so it doesn't say 300 on the horn, but it does say on the serial number KT and then the serial number. On the bell, it just says Getzen, Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And what we're looking at here is a 2006 Getzen 300 or a 351. If you look at the serial number, it's 351 dash and then the rest of the number. So it's a 300 series, 351. Both of them, here's some interesting things. Both of them are about 500. The bore is 500. I believe this one's like 498, but are we really counting 2/100ths of an inch? So let's just say they're both 500. All right, the 1970 has a 7.5-inch bell. The 2006 has an 8-inch bell. They both have nickel slides, nickel plated, solid nickel. I don't know. I don't have any way to tell unless I just cut the thing in half and check. But I don't know. But they're both nickel if you look at them. And then they both have brass crooks down at the bottom. Of course, the 1970 has the little mohawk weight at the top, which was very characteristic of Getzens throughout the 1950s and 60s, and even the 70s. Getzen did away with that later, so it's more of a conventional appearance. If you take a look at it, take a look kind of a little closer here. Let me get you a little closer here. You'll notice that the taper on the 70 gets broader a little bit sooner, and the taper on the 2006 doesn't quite grow quite as fast, but when it gets towards the end, then it spreads out quickly. And what that does, it affects the color. So this one's going to have a more, with a 7.5-inch bell, this one's going to have a little more of a direct and centered sound. This one's going to have a warmer tone, a little more spread. And if some of you have been looking at my videos, you'll see that a few weeks back, I did a blind comparison between a Getzen 300 and a Con 6H, and a majority of the viewers thought this was the pro horn of the 6H, and they thought that the 6H was the student horn. Anyway, but there were some factors involved. First of all, it was the recording microphone on my phone, and it was me playing it. And I didn't play anything really hard or challenging. I just played what I played, and I said, guess which one's which. Even with my mistakes and my split and crack notes, most everybody thought the Getzen was the pro horn because of its warmth and its nice responsive sound. So here's some details for you. So the 1970 KT series here, let me go over here on this side. The 1970 KT series here, I got some details here. In terms of weight, the outer slide is only 7 ounces. By today, that's considered a relatively lightweight slide, 6.5 to 7.5 ounces lightweight. The 2006, the outer slide is 8.8 ounces. So that's more of a standard student horn slide weight. It's a little heavier. The 1970 overall trombone weight is 2 pounds, 13 ounces. It's not even 3 pounds. 2 pounds, 13 ounces. I believe the 6H is about 2 pounds, 14 ounces. The Getzen 300 here, 351, is 2 pounds, 15 ounces. So there's a 2-pound difference, and I think it's really in the slide here. But they're basically the same weight. You know, I'd say the bell sections are probably very close together. But you can also see that this has a much more open design here, very much like the Cons. And this one gets a little narrow at the top, more like some of the contemporary student horns. But I wouldn't call the KT series a student horn, because in the 70s, these were mass produced. But I think it was their horn. There was this series, and then there was the, I think they had the Capri, and then the Eterna series, which I don't see very many of those at all in that date. This might have been the only horn they were making. I don't know. There's a lot of different serial numbers out there. But this one's a pretty good horn. I'm going to play both of them for you so you can kind of listen. You know, again, it's going to be me playing. It's going to be the phone recording it. And then I will play also the 300 here. So what I'm going to be using is I will be using a Vincent Bach 11, not an 11C, but an 11. So let's go ahead and take a listen to each one of these. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to tell you the price because these are what the prices are going to be. They're not going to move. The 1970 225 free pickup. I mean the 300 is going to be 325. So 225, 325. The newer is 325. Now the older one, I did some refinish work on it and some repair work. The newer one, I replaced the crook at the bottom of the slide, so that's a brand new crook. When I got it, the horn was pretty much in great shape, except the crook was collapsed. And any little dings and dents, I pretty much removed. But you're going to see little ruffles here and there. I mean, it's a used horn. New, if you try to buy this horn new, it's going for $1,900, $2,000. And I'm asking you for $325. Come on. This one, I don't know what it sold for in 1970. I'm sure it's a lot less than this one. Okay, so let me go ahead and play a few things for you. We'll start with the 1970 with the old-fashioned Getzen slide lock here. It rotates. It doesn't come off or unscrew. It just rotates. There's that beautiful Mohawk counterweight. There's these beautiful old Getzen braces here. And nice amount of nickel up here. You can see that the hand brace here, a lot of the plating came off, but I polished it up. And then you can see the nickel all along here to the brass crook. Now this one does not have a, what do they call that? A guard, a slide guard. It just didn't come with it. So you'll be okay. Just don't drop it on the floor. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Ran out of breath there. Okay, so you can hear that. It's got, like I said, it's got a really nice focus-centered sound. Not too spread, not entirely warm, but not too cold or bright or screechy either, okay? It's got a really, really nice sound. It's great. It's a great jazz horn. I played it so many times in the jazz ensembles I play, and I'm playing two bands and a trombone choir, and it just always blends really nice with the section. And, you know, right mouthpiece, you can cut straight through the whole thing on lead or even second solo. Okay, now let's go on to the 2006. You know, interesting. It says it's heavier on the scale, but it feels lighter. I think it's just the way it's weighted. So, okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now the next thing. Mistakes and all. Different sound, broader, a little bigger. I think the bell has a lot to do with that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation between the comparison of the 1970 Getzen and the 2006 Getzen 351. Look for them on Facebook Marketplace and Reverb.com in my store, Ron's T-Bone Shed. And we'll talk to you later. If you have any comments, feel free. If you didn't know that these horns were around, they're around. And I've got more that I'm working on right now to restore, to put up, and to sell. All right? So pick one up, enjoy it. They're great horns.